I used to love visiting my grandparents. My granddaddy always had a story to tell, one filled with adventure and excitement. My grandparents were missionaries in the Belgian Congo in the 1940s. It was interesting times. He always had a story that began in those days. In those days, so our Christmas story begins as well. But these were days that were dark and filled with oppression and fear. In those days, it was dark and lonely. But something happens in our story. We move from in those days to this day. The angel said to the shepherds in the field, "Do not be afraid. The Messiah is born to you this day." Our story began in those days, but it ends in this day. And it all happened very quietly with very little commotion or fanfare. It happened when Mary had her firstborn son, wrapped him in cloth, and laid him in a manger. We sing of a silent night. I've had 2 children, and I know the pain and the cries of a newborn, and I don't think it was all that quiet that night in that barn, but it was a silent night. It was an unexceptional birth of another baby, born to poor parents, with only the animals and the shepherds for visitation. It was a silent night that changed everything. Are you living in those days, and days of fear, days of oppression? Are you experiencing change in your life, and are you living in this day? Have you experienced a change from living in fear to living under the rule